So click. So, welcome to Sit by Children TV, man. Mr. Oz, I'm back for a new video. I was gonna push yesterday, but it was quite late. I got around to do it, so we're gonna do it now. But a Clark County, Washington mother has been arrested in Vancouver after killing her 4-year-old son, which happened back in March. So she takes an L. Vancouver takes an L, and Washington takes an L. So a woman from Linwood, Washington was resident in Vancouver and is charged with the murder of her 4-year-old son. The Everett Police Department announced Friday. Ariel Garcia was reported missing by a family member on Wednesday in Everett, Washington. That morning, according to court documents dated March 28th, a friend Everett, that 27-year-old Janet Garcia and her son Ariel Garcia were staying with Kim. Who her son was staying with. Came home to find both mother and son gone and a substantial amount of blood on the floor. On Thursday at about 6 p.m., a child's body was found along Interstate 5 in Pierce County. The Tacoma detectives who found that the burial was Ariel Garcia, and the Snohomish County medical examiner would determine the cause of her death. Meanwhile, in Clark County on Wednesday, even at deputies responded to a rehab center in Richfield after no one person report. According to deputies, that person was Janet Garcia. Staff members at the center said she had come to the facility for alcohol-related treatment and issues in the past. Daniel, a staff member, said when Janet Garcia tried out once that staff were on alert because her mother had called them concerned about her grandson. That's when I initially called 911 and told them that she was here, Daniel said. Daniel said she seemed as calm as ever as he waited for police. Your son is missing his blood and you're just out here like nothing happened. Daniel said it's just not normal. While Clark County deputies interviewed Janet Garcia Wednesday evening, a vehicle of interest in the case, a steel blue 2013 Nissan Sentra SUV was found in the parking lot of Three Peaks Public House and Tap Room in Richfield. Surveillance video showed the Nissan Sentra enter the parking lot and a person who appeared to be Janet Garcia get out of the car and walked out of the frame, heading north on Northeast 10th Avenue, according to court documents. Janet Garcia told deputies on Wednesday that her son fell off a bed and hit his head in Everett. She took him to a Providence hospital in Everett, where she found the wait was too long, so she left, dropped his son with a friend in Seattle, and then took a bus to Richfield to get alcohol treatment. The deputy states in Clark County Court documents they saw blood on Janet Garcia's shoes and blood specks on her white shirt. In follow-up interviews, according to court documents, Janet Garcia said she found a friend's phone number on Facebook and called the friend to ask if she could bring her son to that friend's house. She told detectives she then deleted her friend's phone number and deleted her Facebook account after trapping the boy off. Then Janet Garcia said she drove to a Greyhound bus station in downtown Seattle, left her car there. According to deputies, she showed them her set of keys to the car and said her mother may also have a set, but no one knows she left the vehicle in the bus lot. Deputies said Janet Garcia could not articulate any of the locations she went to or how she knew where to go. Court documents said Janet Garcia allowed deputies to look at her phone call and text log, which had numerous calls and text messages, and her Google Maps history. Deputies did not say if they learned anything from that search. Janet Garcia was initially charged on Thursday by Clark County deputies who was giving false statements to law enforcement. Then on Friday, the Everett Police Department said she had been charged with first-degree murder, second-degree murder, and first-degree assault of a child. Daniel said he met Ariel Garcia. If it doesn't hit you in the heart, there's something wrong with you, Daniel said. All kids are innocent. Please don't ask for a surveillance video that may help them track the car between helped them track the car between Everett and Vancouver on March 27th. Earl helped them determine where the driver went after parking at Three Peaks. So let me play this video for you guys. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. And there has been a lot of tears at this memorial. Take a look behind me. Ariel's own grandmother coming here and breaking down those court documents that you mentioned, showing she was doing everything she could to save her grandson. Ariel Garcia's family creating this memorial, honoring the life of a 4-year-old who disappeared Wednesday from his home on Vesper Drive. Investigators say his body was later found along I-5 in Pierce County Thursday night. His mother, Janet Garcia, was arrested in connection to his death.
It scares me that, somebody so close to their kids would do that.
According to these court documents, Ariel's grandmother was scared too. 2 days before he disappeared, she filed this emergency petition for guardianship, stating her daughter had issues with drugs and alcohol, and that she was, quote, violent and unpredictable.
It's mortifying, and it really hurts my heart and my soul that somebody would do that.
All evening Friday, neighbors and community members dropped off flowers, cards, and stuffed animals, grieving alongside the family.
It's just hard to talk about it. It really is. So it's so close to my house too, just where I live.
It's still unclear how Ariel died, but according to Janet Garcia's arrest report, when police made contact with her, she had blood on her shoes and bloodstains on her shirt. Investigators say she offered inconsistent statements while claiming her son fell off the bed and hit his head. She later said she dropped him off at an unknown apartment in Seattle, making this all the more difficult, knowing a grandmother was fighting for her grandson's life, only to have it end in tragedy.
Taking over, it's not an easy thing to do. And, having this happen breaks my heart.
And the family asking for privacy. Now, we did learn that blue 2013 Nissan Sentra was connected to this case by investigators. Now, why that car description was not immediately shared and forthcoming is still unknown. We did reach out to Everett Police, but have not yet heard back from them. Live in Everett tonight, Dave Dittling, Fox 13 News. Dave, thank you.
Ms. Garcia is present.
Janet Garcia is a mother accused of murdering her 4-year-old son, Ariel.
There are too many question marks here for the court to assume the state has found their person and that person is Janet.
Her attorney making that argument in the same courtroom where the prosecutor pushed for Garcia's bail to be set at $5 million.
The reason for the requested bail is obviously the demonstrated violence that Ms. Garcia showed towards an extraordinarily vulnerable victim.
It's a case that included a phone call family says Janet reached her mother and stated that she had given her son up for adoption and she had checked herself into rehab in Vancouver. When her family checked the Everett apartment where Janet had been staying with her son, they weren't there, but blood was on the floor. A friend told police she reached Janet and asked about it. Court documents list text messages where Janet allegedly said, "It is nothing serious." The friend says, "Janet, I need to know that you and the child are okay because there's a lot of blood and I'm worried." Janet reportedly replied, "The boy fell and I brought him to the hospital." By Thursday evening, the boy's body was found in Pierce County near JBLM with at least 16 stab wounds. Investigators say they used Janet's cell phone data to track her location and it led them to that area. Janet was found in Clark County. Officers said she provided inconsistent statements and had drops of blood on her shirt and shoes.
There is a danger of turning Janet into a scapegoat and ignoring the signs that there are other parties who are involved and responsible for what may have happened.
The defense attorney requested a lower bail, but was denied.
For those reasons, the court will maintain bail today at $5 million.
Days before Ariel Garcia was reported missing, his grandmother filed a petition for emergency guardianship. She said that her daughter had been struggling with substance abuse, and the situation had gotten a lot worse in the last few months. Joyce?
What are the charges that Janet's now facing, Natalie?
She's not officially charged yet, but today in court, the judge found probable cause for first and second degree murder and first degree assault of a child. Joyce?
Natalie reporting for us tonight from Everett. Thank you.
And I'll give my closing thoughts on this particular story. I just like to know what caused a person in particular, but a mother in particular, to be this angry and to brutally, viciously kill your own child, 4 years old. And this is the first time I ever seen a woman who killed a child be charged with not just first degree murder, but second degree murder and first degree child abuse. Because a lot of times it'd just be some type of murder and abuse charge. But I think there needs to be more look. There needs to be there needs to be a look at someone's history and criminal record, and because you just don't know what people are capable of doing. And clearly she just only had this child for the benefits that she can get from this child. She didn't love this child, took advantage of her child, and used this child again to get benefits from her child, and to abuse your child in such a horrible way. It's beyond, sick, and it's also sad, and people like that just don't need to be around children who take advantage of children, who abuse children, who kills their children, and it's also crazy, and again, knowing the condition she was supposedly in with drug abuse and, just not suitable to be a parent, where was, biological father at, the grandmother at, the other side of the family at, to get this child, you know what I'm saying? Because I believe the family knew she had issues instead of allowing her to raise this child, knowing that she had these issues. And it's scary. It's scary. You never know who, you know what I'm saying? You just never know who will do anything to a child. You know what I'm saying? It could be your own children. You know what I'm saying? It could be just anybody. So, again, it's a sad situation. Took this child all the way to Washington. Abused them, and they're just the worst of the worst. She needs life in prison. I don't think Vancouver had the death penalty, but she needs a life in prison without parole, because this was brutal. This was heinous. This was evil. It was wicked. And whole 9 yards. So, I'm going to think about this particular story. We're going to move on to a second story. Now, this story happened back in 2023. We talked about it, I believe, one time, but I want to bring the story back because I think it's important. Um, and I believe the story took place in Chicago. So, um, we're going to talk about this story. You may remember the story where the 71-year-old man killed his child because of his religion. Um, we talked about the story maybe last year sometime, but we're going to talk about it now because like to bring back, what I'm saying, stories I've talked about in the past to just make sure there's updates to it. But recovering from an attack that killed her son, her 6-year-old son, suburban Palestinian American mother urges prayers for peace. So that happened back on October 25th of last year. A Palestinian American woman whose 6-year-old son was killed and what police are calling a hate crime in a Chicago suburb has asked the public to pray for peace as she recuperates from her injuries. Hanan Shen issued a statement to the Chicago chapter of Council on American Islamic Relations after meeting with the group's executive director a day earlier. The written statement marked her first public comment since the brutal October 14th attack that left her with more than a dozen stab wounds with stitches on her face. Authorities said the family's suburban Chicago landlord singled them out because of their Islamic faith and as a response to the escalating Israel-Hamas war. Prayer for peace, Shannon said, thanking authorities, doctors, and others. She was released from the hospital last week and has declined interviews with reporters. Shannon, who works as a caregiver to seniors, lost her son, Wadia Al Fayumi, in the attack that has contributed to fears about rising hostility against Muslims and Palestinians in the U.S. and Illinois alone. In the past week, a suburban man was charged with a hate crime and assault against 2 Muslims in an Islamic gay school canceled class after receiving threats. Joseph Kuzbov, 71, faces murder, attempted murder, and hate crime charges. He is due in court next week. Zub's attorney, George Lenoir, released a statement last week via the Will County Public Defender's Office, saying he would not comment on the case beyond what is presented in the courtroom. Shaheen, who was hospitalized during her son's funeral, remembered him as an intelligent and funny child who cared about the planet and liked to join her in prayers. She said she felt comfort remembering her son as an angel on earth and knowing that he is now an angel in heaven. She added, he was my best friend. So, what I want to say about this particular story is that, number one, as their landlord, your only job was to make sure everything was going smooth. All right? Everything was going smooth when you're renting to people. Okay? But to kill your tenant's son because of his religion tells me that you only wanted them in your home just so you got an opportunity months down the road later to do this. And to be 71 years old with that much hostility, it's just sick that you would kill a 6-year-old child because of what you so-called believe. But what you did not know in the U.S. is that it was a hate crime. It's a hate crime because of the religion. And I think there needs to be a hard, super, super hard background checks on landlords because not every landlord is sane. Not every landlord is fit to be a landlord. They have issues, taking advantage of their tenants, killing their tenants, doing just a lot. And so, again, a 6-year-old innocent child lost his life because of a man who thought, because of his religion and because of what's going on across countries, that that family was involved somehow, some way. And in this particular case, this ex-landlord, in my opinion, needs the death penalty because this was a hate crime, which should be a federal death penalty. He needs to go to federal death row and wait to be executed. Because what that was heinous, it was brutal. And I remember when this story first broke and I reported it. The fact that this mother can attend her own son's funeral because she was injured. She was injured in the hospital. It's crazy. It's sad. And this landlord needs to pay every ex-landlord needs to pay every penny out his pockets to this family to take advantage of this family. It's crazy and it's sad. It's also sad. So, like I said before, this landlord needs to face the music. So let's move on to our next story. I'm on CBS 19. Texarkana, Texas is going to take it ill for our next story. East Texas teen arrested for murder of 17-year-old boy. An East Texas teen has been arrested for the murder of a 17-year-old boy in Texarkana. According to the Texarkana, Texas Police Department, around 1:30 a.m. on Monday, officers responded to an apartment complex in the 1000 block of College Doctor when they found a 17-year-old boy dead with a gunshot wound. Police say a 16-year-old boy was arrested by officers taken to the juvenile detention facility. We believe that the two boys were friends, police said. The gun that we recovered at the scene had previously been reported stolen in Hope, Arkansas. That's in the stern of the investigation. Closing thoughts about this particular story. We have too many teens just roaming streets with illegal firearms, killing each other. We're seeing more and more children gunning each other down. We're now seeing 16-year-old children committing adult crime and wasting away in a prison cell because of it. There needs to be a higher gun laws in America to where they're not getting into these children's hands. And if anybody, I mean by anybody, I mean adults, put these guns in these children's hands, it should automatically be a felony. And a lot of these guns are being transported overseas from illegal countries to America. They're being intercepted at boat at, at boat facilities and crates, and they're being stolen off the streets, illegally purchased. 16-year-old boy kills a 17-year-old boy. Children killing children. And when there's an update to the story, I will give you guys an update. But what do you think this is over? You know, losing our children to the streets. And I just don't understand why people are so dumb. And it's, you could be anything you want to be in life, and yet you would kill someone and ruin your own life. You know, you could be a police officer, doctor, paramedic, firefighter, anything you want to be. And you would ruin those chances because you chose to use a gun during an argument or during a dispute. And when that gun go off and that shot go off, that could be a fatal shot because bullets don't have names on it. So wherever that bullet hit in the body, it could be fatal. I just think there needs to be more gun laws. We need to get the guns off the streets because they're killing they're killing everybody, and it's just beyond dangerous. So condolences to the 17-year-old and the 16-year-old. You know what I'm saying? Get the help he needs while virtually incarcerated, because he's going to be incarcerated for some time for this. So let's go on to our last story. This is an update story. This updated story is out of Orlando. Let me try to find this story. All right. Nice. See. All right. A trial date is set for mother of 10-year-old accused of shooting and killing Orlando woman. So again, Orlando, Florida is going to take an air. A trial date has been set for a mother whose 10-year-old daughter allegedly shot and killed her neighbor. The Keisha Isaac is accused of playing a role in the shooting that happened at the Jernigan Gardens apartments. It's been a roller coaster for Laura Chimbliss. Her 41-year-old daughter, LaShawn Rogers, was killed at the Jernigan Garden apartments in May of 2022. I miss her laugh, Chimbliss said. She was the life of the party. She was a sweet person and giving. I just miss her as a person. I miss her. Police said a 10-year-old girl. Okay. Police said a 10-year-old pulled the trigger, but it was her mother who was first involved in an argument with Rogers and handed her daughter her bag with a gun in it. A 10-year-old Chambliss. A 10-year-old Chambliss. How does she know to go in her mother's butt bag and get that gun? On Monday, a trial date for 31-year-old Lakeisha Isaac was set for April, but attorney said in court a plea deal may be made before then. If it was up to me, I wouldn't want to plead deal a trial, Chamberlain said. I would like for justice to be served between the mother and the daughter for the death of my daughter. Isaac's senior daughter was arrested that night, but because she is a child, information about what has happened since has been made public. Miss Isaac, you guys took a big piece of me, Chamberlain said. I don't wish it on anyone. Chamberlain said Justice Isaac is her last hope. I don't hate them, Chamberlain said. You know, just you know, I just want justice to be served, I want this all over with. Isaac is facing 3 felonies, including a voluntary manslaughter. Rogers was a mother and grandmother. She was also known to help and take care of the little girl accused of killing her. So the woman's trial, the mother's trial, is scheduled for April 29th of this month and this year of 2024. I don't know what time, but that's when her trial date is. She's charged with manslaughter by negligent. Me personally, I think because you recklessly put a deadly weapon in your child's hand, I think there should have been intentional murder in the first degree. Um, Delinquency of a minor, um, aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, um, and a host of other charges. And this 10-year-old child, let's be honest, her future is not going to be the same after this. Um, because knowing what she did and what she's facing in juvenile, because I'm pretty sure she's going to face charges, probably in juvenile court. If anything, she'd probably be sitting in juvenile until she's 21. And then from there, she go to an adult facility and probably charged with actual murder. From there, if guilty, she probably face as an adult between 25 and 30 years in prison. So there's no winners here. But this mother really chose to be negligent. Me personally, if it was me, I would have wanted her to be charged with first degree murder aside manslaughter, because to me, I think manslaughter is more like a slap on the wrist. It's not a serious murder charge, though she should be charged with first degree murder for allowing a 10-year-old to get a gun out of a car that's wrapped up in a bag. And who does that? What parent does that? And fashion fit, I want to shut them up, but Tommy Sotomayor said the best on the show. Fathers make better parents because a lot of these mothers are supposed to be savvy parents to the children, friends with the children. Because who allowed the 10-year-old child to get a gun out of the car, The father, when he did that, he would have talked to both parties and calm everything down. But again, we gotta do better for our children. We gotta really think twice about what we're doing. Allowing your child to get access to that gun was a bad decision because you could just talk this out instead of using a gun. And it's crazy, but I'm gonna give you guys an update. I hope you go to trial because taking a plea, even if you take a plea, the charges you're already facing, you still facing about 15, 20 years in prison alone on this manslaughter charge. So you better off going to trial and tell your story, but it's still gonna look stupid in the eye of the court because you have no defense. Because even if you're arguing with someone as a mother, you could better go off the way. You see what I'm saying? But to engage in such violence in front of your child like that was just uncalled for. And I said to the book that give her a maximum sentence when she's found guilty. She's a black mother. And I don't know if I should call her a mother because my mother let a child to get a gun and use it or something. Let alone an adult. It's crazy. Like, comment, subscribe, share, turn post notifications on so you can be notified every time I upload a video. And I will see you guys on Monday. Speaking of Monday, the show little clips will be here Monday, so we'll be going live quite early on Monday. And hope everyone have a great day. Peace.